Yesterday, I was watching the news item. I saw my brother standing behind. He wasn't happy. If you look at the facial expression. Hey.
So look.
I saw you. I observed the body language. Go and check the body language, the facial expression of Barbara Samoa, the Deputy General Secretary. She wasn't happy. What about Akugan? He couldn't even hold himself. The General Secretary himself was not happy. At a point, he wanted to stammer. That is not how Fifi speaks. Because this is not good news for a political party that has taken off. It's a bad news since Saturday if they care to know their brand has been fractured.
Abusafo, yemo bibia akwaba and Fabra Mega TV and platform with SO. Dr. Zaato, any Solomon Owusu, Alan Solomon Owusu, Ono Communications Director Edma Alan Kojoche Mantini Party, United Party, plus Samson Dr. Zaato, a political analyst, Wakashi, any deputy, IT, Director of Elections, Edma NDC, computer, Rashid Tanko. Nina, Endra, NDC for, Omo committee, Omote, Yomodi, Yawaso, Amokan saying vote buying allegations, especially na Baba Jamal and now the center of the topic and the center of the conversation. And omuchi de mo ono and okoto to TV 32 inches na de ade. But the committee ni trans no oma clear no se obetimi asan contest bio na bibia ebeko no omatimi aye. Sa nkomodidie wi na trigger ya Dr. Zaato any Solomon Owusu clâshed on a New Day. Roland Walker ni show ni so TV3. Na mepesi ye bekonye kwakuti enkomo how if started the whole thing. Yakoba na kayina ebeto aso yankopon hira like edwuma share na foforo enyibife yakoba ebeto aso.
Recent time in the sub region, I mean, we are governed by rules and regulations. We have our constitution that govern our operations and all that. Anytime we are going to elections, and then the functional executive through the National Executive Committee approves regulations for us to run elections. And then we defer to the Electoral Commission so that the elections are run in line with best practices. And then so our internal elections and others are being supervised by the Electoral Commission. Now this election was supervised by the Electoral Commission. In fact, on the day I was on the ground, I went to observe how the election was done. It wasn't the NDC officials who organized or supervised the election. We were there to observe and monitor the process. I'll tell you, it was one of the best organized elections on that day. No problem, no issues, no violence. Every delegate came, cast their votes, counted, collated, and declared. There was no problem whatsoever. Then this issue of inducement and enticing and all that came up, social media, all over the place. As a political party, we abhor certain things that we think will influence delegates or electorate unduly. The NDC is not noted for that. I mean, the NDC takes issues with matters of that nature because we are social democrats. And the social democrats want to give level playing ground to people. We don't want somebody to think that because my pocket is not deep enough, I cannot take up leadership roles or positions in the party. That's why we call ourselves social democrats. We are not capitalists, unlike my colleagues in the opposition. We are social democrats. So first, we issue a statement condemning this alleged inducements and all that, and then followed it up with a committee to go into the matter and advise the National Executive Committee, functional executive, appropriately. You know, the election was held on the 7th, which was Saturday, so they had just 1 day or 2 days, Sunday and then Monday, to put their reports together. So they came out with their report and then submitted the report to us yesterday at FEC. I mean, we have to thank them. I'll use this opportunity to thank Venerable Honorable Tutebi Kwachi and his team. They did a yeoman's job. If you look at the report they presented, very brilliant report, I said it before the report came out that, look, if you have a person like Honorable Tutobi Kwachi leading a team, they would not come out with a report which is different from what everybody would have been thinking. They came out with a true reflection of what happened on that day. They didn't hide anything. They said it as is. But here is the situation.
What's the situation?
The party has a constitution. The party has regulation when it comes to running elections.
Internal elections.
Internal elections. Okay. So if anything, which is, there's no provision in the party constitution that deals with matters of that nature, and you go and take an action outside that, you are going to face legal actions. Somebody can just take
lacuna.
That is it. A big lacuna that need to be cured. The regulations that we used to run the election, we had that difficulties too. So this was a very big challenge. Then there was another challenge. Today is today is the last day for filing. So
with the electoral commission.
The electoral commission. Today is the last day. So this time constraint that we are looking at now, if we should go with what they say, ideally, their recommendation was not that nullify the election. They are saying, looking at the circumstances, ideally, the best thing that the party could have gone in is to nullify it. But here is the problem. You have legal issues steering you because there's no provision in your constitution, there's no provision in your regulations that says that when matters of this nature, somebody is induced or other thing, nullify the election. There's nothing like that in your listing. So we're found in this situation. I said, no, well, we want to deal with this matter dispassionately. But because of the circumstances we have found ourselves, and looking at the Electoral Commission who supervised the election, did not see anything wrong with the processes leading to the conduct and then the voting, counting and declaration and all that. Everything went on perfectly. The Electoral Commission has no issues. We will allow Honorable Baba Jamal to proceed with the filing on behalf of the NDC. Whilst we take appropriate time, because it's like time constraint for the committee, just 2 days, we will expand the membership of the committee to 7 and give them enough time to go in holistically, look at the matter that is staring us. It's an institutional matter.
You mean the general problem as
the general problem as a canker that we think that as a political party and in the country, we must nip it in the bud. Otherwise, we cannot have expecting future leaders to come in with these ideas. Because we know this matter started around 2001 thereabout. This monocracy and all that. As soon as His Excellency President Kufuor came into office, they started this monocracy matter. And it is now becoming a hydra-headed problem in the country. As for our opponent MPP, they have institutionalized that matter in their party. They don't see anything wrong with that.
Why do you have to mention the MPP? Because it's a problem
I'm saying
that everybody else over the last 3 days has agreed is a problem across all the parties, but particularly being perpetrated by the two parties, MPP and NDC. You're saying that for all the wrongs, one is more criminal than the other. Is that what you're saying?
MPP is worse. It's endemic in that party. It's endemic.
But what is wrong is wrong.
Oh, but I'm saying that the NDC is now facing it headlong. We are saying that we will deal with that matter. Don't forget, they held their election 31st January. And it was live, publicly. The delegates were there, showing money and saying that others have not brought their money. It's across the country what they did on that day. Did you see any one-line statement from MPP national executives condemning that action?
During the presidential primary?
During the presidential, none.
Why is that important?
No, I'm saying that it's important because Ghanaians are now congratulating NDC for being truthful and facing the matter. The NDC head-on, we are saying that, look, we have seen it, we are going to deal with it, we even form a committee to go into the matter. This is a political party that elected a presidential candidate that was bedeviled with monocracy, monetization publicly and everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. They didn't see anything wrong with it. I said that one, they have instituted it in their party. They don't see anything wrong with that in their party. What's the NDC? So Ghanaians are happy NDC is now trying to deal with this matter. And we are saying that, look, this matter, the 7-man committee now put together, they will go into the matter, come and give us recommendations as to how to now look at the lacuna in our party constitution, how to deal with that matter. Because we see we have just rolled out our reorganization program. It started yesterday, 10th. So we are calling our party people who want to join the NDC. We started yesterday. You can go to any of our branches, our offices, and take up membership card from our party. We started yesterday.
You're doing a membership drive?
Yes, we'll start from that one and then move to the branch elections. So this one will start, it started yesterday to end on 30th. And then after that, we will continue our constituency elections, branch elections, and then constituency election, the regional election, and end it at the national election, which is on 19th December. Now, going through this 7-man committee will come out with recommendations as how to deal, because these are other elections that we are going to hold. And we want to make sure that we don't see these issues rearing its ugly head in any of this. So that's why the 7-man committee has been put together. So you see, Ghanaians are happy. They voted a very good political party, NDC, to come and deal with matter everybody is complaining with. Unlike our opponent, the least said about them, the better. And then that one, they also said they don't have even moral justification whatsoever to speak about matters of this nature. Because it's an institutional issue in their party, the MPP. And I was surprised some of them were even talking about it.
How is it an institutional issue in the MPP and it's not an institutional issue in the NDC?
2007, 17 of them contested. You saw what happened at Legon Congress.
Yeah, all the issues about
that
cash and everything.
Cash and people were being slapped because they were distributing money. this is what they did. And President Kufuor, who even started that matter, had got to complain about what was going on. And they didn't stop there till up to date. 31st was worse. Some were saying that Aduchuma has not brought money. We are not going to vote for him. Governor Ajay Japan has not brought money. We are not going to vote for him. This man brought 700. They were mentioning names. Another man brought 500.
They should have also composited a committee.
They should have even condemned their leadership because they have instituted that thing in their party. Nobody see anything wrong with it. They didn't see anything wrong with that. The NDC, it was even an allegation because just footages, TV footages, we said no way. We are not going to allow this. And that is why we're saying when we did it, the report was very clear that there was inappropriate action on the part of this candidate. All the report even indicated, not by themselves, but activists who were aligned to them did all these things. And we think that is not the way to go as a political party. And so the NDC should be congratulated for taking this bold.
Your opinion is that across the political divide, when it comes to governance, intra-party activities, but
the NDC is the best.
Dr. Zaato, we've come to a point where, for example, if, one of our loyal viewers in Israel, Emmanuel Entry, says that the problem has become endemic, and it's not about NDC or MPP. It has to be kept. Otherwise, those who have good traits to become leaders will not be given the opportunity to occupy public office and political positions and will go to the highest bidder. It's a canker. So whether it's MPP or NDC or UP or however it is, it's a problem, is that not it?
Thank you very much. And he's a very smart guy, and I like the point he's made. There's merit to what he's saying. But there's something that we must understand. Around February 3rd or 4th, a gentleman by name Kofi Owusu made allegations of corruptions against state agencies. He made an allegation.
You've made the point.
I want to come. You see, when I come from that perspective, you understand that the kind of animal farm justice or injustice perpetrated in this country. He made allegations, mere allegations. He was picked up by state securities. As of this morning, even his own lawyers don't know where he is. Based on an allegation, I want to make that point clear. Kofi Nkasa was picked up because he made an allegation of corruption against state agencies, against government officials. He could be referred to as a whistleblower, or at least it is an allegation he's made. I'm not saying that what he said was no, but you picked him up.
You say you don't think what he said was...
No, he made an allegation. That allegation, he could potentially be a whistleblower. You picked him up, he doesn't know. 2. Government appointees, 3 or 4 of them, because the people that contested the elections, about 3 of them are government appointees, agreed in this report read by the General Secretary of the party that, yes, they induced voters in our election. Which is a criminal act.
The report is
they are rewarded No, in return, they are rewarded. One of them is actually rewarded with a straight ticket to parliament. The other two, government appointees, they are not facing any sanctions or possible at all. So I want just wherever you are sitting as a Ghanaian, think about it this way. You make an allegation, you are thrown into the gallows, you are thrown into a dark cell somewhere, nobody cares about you. People actually agree that they have actually used government money to induce voters. They are giving a red carpet to wherever they are going. And you call this justice in Ghana, and this is what you say we should emulate. This is what we are saying we should clap for the NDC for. This is what we are saying we should play for the government. And so when you see this out, when you see this kind of animal farm injustice, then you begin to ask yourself, where did we go wrong as Ghanaians? Is this the new independence you promised? Is this the reset you promised? Mere allegation is enough to throw you to jail, but you can do whatever you want. We can see you, can catch you on camera. We can see you. People came out to publicly say, you get a jail free card. That is what we should copy. As early as the late 1990s and early 20s, Jerry John Rawlings, the founder of the NDC, was worried and complaining about what? Monitocracy in the NDC. He died with those lamentations. It's happening now. But let's go back to something. There are two. One, what everybody is now worrying about is that, look, what happened in Ayawaso West Wogon, I can agree, like your friend said, that is the norm in Ghanaian politics. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's the norm. Everybody knows that that is how these things are done. So that is why everybody was happy that there was this widespread condemnation of it with the party. That's why everybody was cheering for the presidency when they issued the statement. That's why everybody was cheering for the NDC when they issued the statement. That's why everybody was cheering for parliament when they issued the statement. And then something happened. There was an anti-clamor quickly. Everything, all the outreach, all this toy in swoon. They toy in swoon because of one thing. Now you are telling us your constitution. When the presidency issued the statement, they didn't know the NDC constitution. When the president of the Republic of Ghana or his spokesman issued that statement, he didn't know that there was no annulment in the NDC constitution. He didn't know that. How many lawyers are in the Jubilee House? They didn't know that. Two, when the NDC itself issued a statement, they didn't know that. No, it's very important too, because when you are trying to fake, you are trying to mislead Ghanaians.
Dr. Zaato.
Yes.
The president and the presidency issued the statement on Baba Jamal.
Yes, calling for annulment.
Recalling.
Yeah, him. Yes.
And then
which is also actually an act of it's ingenious.
So is it not true that it was a decision made for an appointee?
Yes.
Not necessarily because he was a party person, and that the remit as to who takes disciplinary actions on a member of a political party serving in government, that really, by way of those provisions, lies with the executives.
Was he the only appointee? Now, you think about the chain of effects. The man is in Nigeria. He leaves Nigeria, comes to Ghana, says, I'm going to contest. Files to contest, is clear to contest. You don't withdraw him. Now, the man goes to win. You are now faking a surprise at what he has done. Shouldn't you, wasn't that the best time? The moment the guy declares his intention to contest, wasn't that the best time to what? Recall him? The man wins now. You are not happy with his. But I'm making a point. Let me
the recall is not because he's contesting. The recall
it's because he won.
The recall is because they say that public opinion and based on available videos and then the responses by he himself.
Roland, the same public
does give a certain semblance of the fact that he seemed to say that I give out gifts.
The same thing. I'm saying that the same evidence you just mentioned.
The other contestants responding.
The same evidence that you mentioned also mentioned the other government appointees. At least 3 of them, that they all engage in such behavior. Why only Baba Jamal? But the second point, so those who issued the statement calling for the annulment of the decision, didn't they know that in the NDC constitution there was no dissent? Why did they do that? So who were they lying to? Why were they faking? Why the fake? Why the fake pretense? Why the fake outreach? 2, you are talking about what? A time constraints. Again, the NDC, when they were planning their scheduling their primaries, didn't they take into consideration time? Because by the time they were primary, they knew when they were supposed to submit the candidate. Why did they send it that close then? And when they were doing that, why didn't they know? Didn't anybody tell them, hey, if we do this, it is the time to put it. When you were submitting, you came out with your committee. You gave the committee 2 days. At that time, didn't you know that there was a deadline? And finally, the outage. For me, the biggest hypocrisy, the biggest outrage of this came from Parliament. And the majority side, and the statement they issued. Reading that statement is like listening to a priest preaching to you about morality and ethics in the brothel in Las Vegas. It's just so outrageous. How do we expect us to take it advice from you? You who went there, you who were players in the system, you who went and monetized one of the candidates against the other, then all of a sudden you are faking outrage. How many of the men and women in the majority side of the parliament can say that they have never...
What do you mean by they went to monetize one of the candidates?
They went and gave money to one of the candidates.
But what was the donation for?
I don't know. Okay. But they were giving money on the eve to a primary.
Okay, but is the donation not as a contribution from the majority to a widow whose husband was their colleague?
You know they could have done that after the primaries, right?
They could have done what?
Made a donation after the primaries, right?
They could have done
the donation after they could have done that, right? You know they could have also done it during the funeral, right? Like what most people do. You go and give money to somebody on the eve to elections. I'm not saying again, but all of a sudden the woman has $100,000, CDs. The woman is engaging in the primary. I mean, do the mass. So the point I'm making is that the fake outreach from the again and also from the majority leader and the majority side, they didn't know that the NDC constitution did not have any provision for annulling elections. So who were they deceiving? Why the fake outreach? And that is the point. That's where we've gotten to right now. That the person that you saw an opportunity that I thought that you were going to do well. The NDC is now showing us that no. They prefer to put electoral calculus over national interest. Because if they had actually gone, look, you know, the NDC could have decided that precisely because of these infractions, because of this, we will not contest the election. They could have done that. They could have said that because of this, we have been so scandalized by the actions and inactions of our members. We have been so wounded that we will take a moral stand and say that we will not contest this election. It will not affect their majority in parliament. That would have been a principal stand. That would have been telling to all Ghanaians and the ADC that we didn't do this. But you didn't do that. You are now putting calculus, and so everything be damned. Corruption be damned. Election inducement be damned. Because we want to win elections, we are going to do this. And now, why did they do that? They did that because they are afraid of their shadow. Computer pointed to something that he thought they would have been seen. The NDC now thinks, look, if somebody who is in government for just 1 year, or people in government for 1 year can produce these copious amounts of money, if people out of government can bring this amount of resources, well, we are told that almost every delegate was rewarded with about 10,000 cedis, pad, rice, oil, TV, in just 1 year. The MPs in parliament are freaking out. They are freaking out because they're asking themselves, do you know what will happen when in 2-3 years' time there are primaries? Do you know what happened when the CEOs, deputy CEOs, and others and ministers with money come to challenge them? That is what is freaking them out. So, what NDC is doing is an exercise in self-preservation. It's not in the national interest. They didn't do it because they could do it. They did it because they couldn't get away with it. They were caught on cameras with it. They were caught with their pants down and their hands in the jar. They did that because they didn't have any moral principles to stand on. They faked the outrage, and that is why we are here today.
So, what do you make of all this? Because it also means that with the monetization, with the United Party not having money, you cannot penetrate. It will only be MPP and NDC.
Even if we will not give anybody a dime. I keep saying that if it is because of money that I will never go to parliament, like I will stay in my house. Why must I go and pay somebody to be a member of parliament? To say. But you see, this morning, I am very surprised with what Zaato has done. I thought you could take a cue from what the tester said from Israel. Perfect. You put the issues in a national context and discuss it, because the MPP and the NDC are both guilty. And in fact, if we are going to go into details of it, the MPP is worse. As a matter of fact, if I were going to take
I don't understand. What do you mean by that?
They are worse when it comes to they just finished the internal primaries, presidential primaries. They did it on the 31st of January. You heard the various tapes. Brian gave 700 cedis. If you multiply by the 196,442 people that took part, it means on election day alone, Brian expended 137 million. We are told that Baumia expended 500, which these figures are even conservative. And they came to tell it. They have not denied it. And for Zaato, 11 days after that, to come and sit here and create an impression as though he is just coming from somewhere to Ghana and has just come to meet this news.
You can't say that he's paying sanctimonious.
It insults the integrity of our viewers. So at best, he could have behaved in a nationalistic manner. You were in this country last year, 2024, April. In fact, you conducted that interview here. We sat on this table. When there was a by-election in Ajuso, you remember that by-election? You remember Dr. Nyaku? The Kwadaso MP.
Yes, the member of Parliament.
As for him, he moved from Kwadaso went past Bantima, went past Oforukrom, went past Tech Junction, and went to, what was the name, Joso, and bribed electoral officers. Pudio, you know Pudio?
He says it was for lunch.
Jesus Christ. Why is it that today he's not going there to give them lunch? Today, the people are still there. He's not going back to give them lunch. And you have Zaato, who is in the known as to what has happened. In that by-election, they gave residents weed in Tampe, these people, and added 100 cities to it. Look, weed in Tampe, what's the other name? Igbo, Bolua, they call it Bolua. They gave it to them, including women. They were given to women and added 100 cities. The New Patriotic Party did that, all because they wanted to win against Aduomi. Remember, Aduomi was contested as an independent and he nearly won that election. Look, the super delegates elections in 2023. That's how come we left the MPP.
Okay, the one conducted before the main.
Yes. They paid 200,000, 100,000 just to disgrace Mr. Alan Chemate. So what are we talking about
one that
here?
Triggered Alan leaving.
Absolutely. So this is a national matter that we must treat it in the national context. How many times haven't I come here and told you that monetization of politics will destroy this country? You understand? Now you narrow it to Baba Jamal. Yesterday I was watching the news item. I saw my brother standing behind. He wasn't happy. If you look at the facial expression.
So look.
I saw you. I observed the body language. Go and check the body language, the facial expression of Barbara Samoa, the Deputy General Secretary. She wasn't happy. What about Akugan? He couldn't even hold himself. The General Secretary himself was not happy. At a point, he wanted to stammer. That is not how Fifi Kwete speaks. Because this is not good news for a political party that has taken off. It's a bad news since Saturday. If they care to know, their brand has been fractured. That is how come between Saturday and Sunday, a lot of statements were being issued left, right, center, just to try to reassure the people of this country.
What's your point with this?
The point I'm making is that what Baba Jamal, together with the Haji Amina and the rest have done is to bring our body politics into disrepute. And I disagree entirely with the reasons that have been assigned by the National Democratic Congress that it is the reason why Baba Jamal must go. Baba Jamal's situation is just like the Pandai MP who has been asked to go back to Parliament. The same thing.
Why?
The NDC is telling us that yes, you bribed your way, you paid. That is the conclusion of the committee. However, because of time constraint and because of legalities, and the legalities I disagree, because every constitution is subservient to the Constitution of Ghana. Every act or law is subservient to the Constitution of Ghana. We have a lot of laws in this country that deals with bribery. If you read the People's Representative Act 284, it talks about bribery. And in fact, if 33, and even when you go to 34, it talks about if you give meat and drink, Koscielny Meko, they did not give Koscielny Meko. It falls under 34. So for the party to come and tell us that there is no law to buy him, it's just disingenuous. You understand? It is not fair. We are building a system. We are building a future for our country. We are building democracy. There's a coming events cast their own shadows. That it means the parliamentary primaries that are ahead of them and the presidential primaries is going to be money. Now, where is the money going to come from? Now, is it even fair to the teeming millions of people that voted for the NDC who are yet to even receive matches from them? That you are organizing an election, you are giving 32-inch. Now the people call him Banasco, Baba Nasco. Hey, they call who Banasco? These Gen Zs, they call Baba Jamal Banasco.
What is that? What does that mean?
They say Baba Jamal and Nasco TV, Banasco.
Okay.
And like someone other General Banasco.
Hey, like an acronym.
Hey, this country.
Do you think that the over-politicization needs to be dealt internally by the parties and that the actions by the NDC needs to be extended?
I think the party was bold to extend, but they lacked the final nail because they have identified that indeed there was an inducement, and they are saying that, but for time, if they had time, they would not annul the result. That is for me a good thing, but it is also bad because you have not been able to take the final decision. You are representing a candidate who is fractured. So tomorrow, if I see Baba Jamal in Parliament, what I know is that he paid his way to Parliament. Just like I've told you about Nyindam, that Nyindam, according to the High Court decision, was fractured. He, as a matter of fact, stole. But because the NDC was time barred, that is why it's in Parliament. Why would I take you serious? And it is the reason why we must be serious with whatever we do. We must hammer on this. But you see, it comes back to how our institutions are weak. Roland, you remember on the 15th of September 2025, I, together with Apia Dankwa and Ebu Bakman, we petitioned the OSP to investigate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Or on what?
On the same corruption issues. We knew what we were doing. See, sometimes when you initiate something, people think that it is because you hate a personality. I can never hate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. As a human being, why would I do that?
What was the petition about?
What we were trying to achieve was to prevent or avert some of these things. That he had gone to make a statement that he single-handedly donated more than 300 brand new Navara pickups.
Navara.
Now, when you put pen to paper and calculate how much was involved, and if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia decided throughout his tenure as a vice president, the entire 8 years, not to touch a cent of his salary, plus all the traveling allowances and so on, he couldn't buy 15 of those vehicles. Yet he told us, and this was coming from him, that he was able to buy more than 300 brand new Navara pickups. So what we wanted to achieve was to cause the OSP to investigate, to serve as a deterrent, because mind you, our Political Parties Act and so on and so forth calls to question if you are mandated to disclose whoever is investing or whoever is contributing to your political campaign. When we did that, from our resources, we are not in government, have never been in government. Anytime they are in government, we are in opposition. Courtesy of a good for they nearly even destroyed our businesses. I go and submit this petition, common courtesy from OSP, to even acknowledge.
You don't mean it. You mean the petition is still...
He doesn't care about it. So when I heard him say that he was going to investigate Baba Jamal, I laughed. I gave you a cool chop. This one is what's coming from the horse's own mouth.
Cool chop?
Cool chop.
How many Navaras did you say?
He said more than 300, so it could be 500, it could be 600, it could be 700. But you let's just be conservative and peg it at 300 Navara pickups and check the price of a unit of Navara pickup.
Navara?
Navara. The man is working and you have somebody representing in the person of Zaato, who is a strong Bawumia loyalist, come here, present the issue as though there is nothing in the pipeline.
You said Navara.
Navara. No, so he would have been better off discussing this matter as a nationalistic one. Look, it doesn't even end with all the political parties. Have you observed Methodist, Presby, Church of Pentecost and others, their elections? My goodness. I witnessed one with Methodist when I was here in youth couple. People actually bribe their way to become bishops. Bribery is becoming a norm, something that is with us. From cultural perspective, I don't understand. If you want to be if you go and visit someone in your culture, in my culture, in that of Zaato and then Tanko's culture, when you go and visit someone, is it not the person that's supposed to give you water? We are turning it around. The politician go there and the politician is supposed to offer the water to the person that you are visiting, and we are encouraging it. So, as a matter of fact, if there is anything about the NDC that I love, that's the only thing that I love, is they have a song, the anthem. What is the name of that? For victory. Go and listen to the words in that song.
But the MPP also have...
No, they say...
Save Ghana.
To say they came to loot, to say save Ghana.
So you said the NDC anthem. What's wrong with it?
Arise, arise for Ghana.
Okay.
Ye patriots of the land. Towards a secured future. Development is their goal. Can you say that what Baba Jamal, Haji Amina, and the rest have done is towards a secure future, is towards a development? No, this cannot be. And I believe that the party must, because the reason that they are giving the time is short, the party has the power to have even selected. They could have selected someone. Now look, we have annulled everything from Nima, Ayawasu is, we are taking this man to go and represent us, and not to present a fractured candidate who will be a representation of what we abhor as a society.
Nationally, how do we tackle this in a national sense? You as leading political parties.
Let me put this straight, and then it will help my brother.
Please do that in 4 minutes,
yes,
okay?
It's straightforward. When the General Secretary articulated the position of FEC on the report, it was very clear. Now, if you look at the statement from the presidency, that's why Functional Executive Committee yesterday thanked His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, for the bold decision on Baba Jamal, and followed it up that there were 2 other government appointees who are also caught in the report. And so the parties also appeal.
Okay, I think we have a problem with your mic, so just hold on. So how do we tackle this heads-on nationally? Because throughout the conversation and the narrative, it's a national canker.
Thank you. I agree. That's what I said. What happened in OYIWA was the norm, not the exception.
How do you think the party should deal with it?
Party should come. I mean, we need laws. In fact, the majority is sitting there, they can easily pass a law. But there's something I have to talk about. Look, it's very important, and I like the Solomon's call for what? Public inquiry and public investigation. I like it. Honorable Alan Chramenten, that is his official name. But when he was contesting to lead the NPP in 2002, his name was changed from Alan Chramenten to Alan Cash. Even Sarkodie played a song using Alan Cash, Alan Cash. Why was his name?
Sarkodie has a song?
There's a song, there's a Zaato song say from Alan Cash or something like that.
Shadrach, is there an Zaato song for Fremian?
Zaato Fiesta from Alan Cash. Where did he get that? You know the song? No, I just know that line from Alan Cash. Where did he get that name? Where did he get that name? Today you are sitting here pretending that. Where did Alan Cash get that name?
What's your point?
My point is that he who lives in a glass house don't throw stones. In that
if
election,
you live in a glass house,
don't throw stones. Whatever you are, don't throw. Solomon is living in a glass house and he's throwing stones. How did his boss get the name Alan Cash?
So
the name only came out. No, my former minister. The name only came out when he started contesting to lead the NPP. That was where the only came. How did he get Alan Cash? His father didn't give him Alan Cash. It's not his birth certificate. How did he get Alan Cash? In the last election, he contested. There were what's the name? Your pickups of your contest running all over the
around in 2000. Where did he were you around in 2007?
Was that around?
In terms of monitoring the politics of Ghana. Because the intent of that name was to mean that if he gets to win and become president, there will be money for
cash.
people.
But it's not to give cash. And so all the people, so all the people sending me,
because that was the policy.
People are sending he was called Alan Cash. He was called Alan Cash because of what? Why did he get Alan Cash? The point I'm making is this: if we are going to call for vision, by all means do that. You've done that. I also hope that by this application, you can also then petition the SP to also investigate the Owusu East Wagam thing. I don't think that there's a problem with
the OSP is already investigating that.
Good, I'm fine with that. Remember, I started by saying that we can do that. That I was happy and impressed with the initial NDC outreach. I was, because first of all, for once, we're going to see a party take a bold stand and face the damn consequences. I remember I said that. Less than 24 hours, then we didn't realize that all that outreach was fake. That's the problem. All that was fake. And now the NDC is saying...
You said that in your first response.
Yes, so that's
my question. Let me repose the question. Perhaps maybe you didn't get the...
I got you very clear. I was just responding to the fact that his boss was called Alan Cash.
Okay.
Because of money.
So the question I ask is that we've dealt the first time by way of the responses on the issue of the individual parties.
Okay.
I'm saying, so right now you're throwing even Alan Cash.
No, but I have to respond. No. I will respond. I will respond. But you just spoke, I have to respond.
You are now talking.
Okay, it's okay. So on this table, there is the general consensus that everybody else is guilty. And you even rightly say that if you live in a
glass house,
don't throw stones.
Yes.
So I'm asking the question, nationally then, how do we deal with this canker as political parties and players, civil society, etc.?
Thank you. Today, we can lay an emergency bill in Parliament banning the giving of gifts, explicitly saying it. That law can also say that all political parties must enshrine in their constitutions measures to annul such elections. We can do it today. There's super majority in the House, and there's appetite in the House for such things. Civil society organizations will help. If the majority don't have the capacity to do it, they can easily do that. Let's do that. One, let's say that all political parties should exist. If it is money for transportation, for food, everything, that money should come from the national headquarters of the party. And they should be announced before the primary days. Long weeks or months before that, the day you are coming out with your outlines for your primaries, also announce that we will provide each delegate with this amount of money for transport, for food, and for accommodation, because sometimes people travel long distances. Outline that. They make it clear that any candidate who goes outside these lines to provide any money in the name of food, transport, is breaking that law. They will insist that political parties enshrine that, and then we can do that. We can go ahead. The president talked about establishing special courts to deal with public accounts committee. Then we can also establish specialized courts in all the regions to specifically deal with this, to say that during that time, we will send OSP BNI, CID officials to monitor that any candidate who does this and do. My point is that this can be a teachable and a learnable moment. Let's take the moral high ground. Let's move to legislation. Let's move to punish culprits for that. Because if we don't do that, we are just going back to what? Our usual settings. And that's no good for us.
You contested Sisala East for the MPP primaries, right? What did you share? What's your response?
I didn't share anything. I didn't share anything. I want to make this. I didn't share anything.
No, you didn't.
And I didn't know that we're personalizing this thing. But go ahead.
No, by your experience.
No. It's not my experience.
I'm not
go ahead.
It's a whole question you can answer.
Go ahead. I've answered. I didn't share anything.
My mic now.
Oh, Tanko. Okay.
Yes. That was like when Zaato.
How do we do with this nationally?
Included in my
Not nationally. No, he didn't.
I was certain
we
that
had a technical.
Yes. So I have to correct that. We thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The statement he issued. It's not hypocritical.
We call him Baba Jamal.
The statement he issued as an appointee. If you go and read the statement, there's no paragraph in that statement which was calling for annulment of the election. None. Dr. Zaato, President, didn't issue that. He didn't. He's a leader of the party, and he knows the party constitution very well. He has led the party on several fronts, and currently he is a leader of the party. So in issuing that statement, he didn't call for that thing. He knows that power rests with functional executive committee through the national committee. No, but he didn't. That statement, the president's statement, he didn't. If you also look at the general secretary, in fact, he coordinated and spoke eloquently about reasons behind we calling that the president should also exert the same punishment with the other appointees who are also found in this issue. The party didn't mince words in that, and you must congratulate the NDC for taking this bold step on that. The General Secretary articulated that in his statement, and it's live. You can pick it out from there. And then secondly, you see, nationalists, if you look at it, that's what I'm saying, we should commend the NDC, because we have taken the bull by the horn by adding 4 more members to the 3 existing ones and giving them expanded mandate to look at how we can resolve this matter. Because it's an institutional issue. It's an institutional matter. It's not individuals or this and that the party is looking at. We are looking at institutional matter because we are going to bigger elections. We are going to reorganize our party up to December. And so if we don't come out with regulations or issues that will help us stop these issues as we are moving into the election, it's likely to raise its head. And then so the NDC should commend on that. And I can assure you, as we are doing, political watchers and others, they are commending the NDC because for you, they won't talk about it, the MPP, because you have institutionalized it. It's part and parcel of MPP. There's no way they can regulate it in that party.
Make
and
sure
so,
we or stop or reduce this nationally.
Of course, that is why. Yeah, that is why I'm saying that for the NDC, we have gone ahead. We have set a committee. We have given the expanded mandate. Go into the matter. Give us recommendations that we can try to resolve. We have seen some lacuna in our party constitution. We are trying to cure that lacuna. Okay, we have seen that in our regulation that they give to us as election directorate. I work in the election director of the party. So the party will always give us regulations that, look, use this regulation to conduct our elections for us. Are you getting it? So there is a lacuna in there. That does not look at how, if somebody is monetizing the process, how are you going to deal with that matter? Now we are giving that mandate to the committee to come out with this recommendation as how to deal with this one. And that is why I'm saying Dr. Zaato and your group should commend the NDC that, look, this is a serious political party. That is and then my good brother, we are trying to see how best we can help develop the country through this, so that you and I, we don't have deep pockets. We can contest elections. Okay, we don't have deep pockets. So we can go it. So that is what we are looking. And I know my good brother is also listening his book, Dr. Zaato, to come and contest again. He doesn't have deep pocket, of course, but we'll still beat them because you know for MPP. I don't know why they still want to contest those areas, because you won't win. We'll make sure that we'll come.
Don't personalize. You said don't personalize.
No, I say he won't win. You know why I'm saying that he won't win? Because the thing we are doing over there in that constituency, in that area, they will still vote for NDC. We have reduced prices of food. Yes, we have reduced prices of food.
Don't say that.
We have reduced fuel prices for that area. The big push, we are opening the road networks in the area. The road networks, big push is over there. Huge moving vehicles. So all these things that we are doing over there, Dr. Zaato, don't go in contest because you won't win. NDC will continue to win in that area. So these are the things we are doing.
You have a course coming up 2027.
No, we're starting this year.
Okay. Ultimately, when you have to do amendments and all that.
Yes, at that time.
It's likely to be tabled if the recommendations are
fantastic. That is why I'm saying that. So we incorporate it into our decision and deal with that matter.
So substantively, while you respond to some of these issues and how we tackle it nationally, by extension, there's already a case in court.
Yes.
Brought by three key individuals, great statesmen in our country, that by extension we should abolish the delegate system. In other facets of the narrative, the belief is that once you have the delegate system being expanded just beyond those who are selected to the entire membership, then it also means that the ability for individuals, whether they have money or not, to be able to bribe or induce for those delegates or the members by extension to be voted will be reducing.
No, we of the United Party thinks otherwise. We believe that the expansion of the delegate system is not the panacea. Remember when we started our fourth Republican dispensation, if you took NPP, they had less than 3,000 delegates. People thought that was okay. We didn't witness some of these incidents of high monetization of our politics. Then people called for expansion of the delegate system. 211,849 is now their delegates, total delegates they have. You saw what happened. Brian paying 700 to each of the delegates. Baumia paying 500. Kennedy paying 500. You calculate, I just gave you the money.
Didn't pay at all.
They said Kwame Japan didn't have because he wasn't in the government. He sat on it. The people are not happy with him. So, from the UP's perspective, and this is what we are going to do, Roland Walker is a very good material. He has what it takes to represent the people of this country in parliament. Roland is in the Ashama constituency. United Party will pick you and support you. And they said, I'm take it to good. You could be our parliamentary candidate for Ashama. Cookie tea is good. We know she can represent us in parliament.
What's your point with this?
The point that we are making is that it is competition that brings all this monetization. But as a party, you should be able to have a research team go into a constituency. Know, first of all, the one that is competent. Competence is the key word here. To the one that endears himself to the constituency, who could contribute immensely to the development of this country. And that person will be given the opportunity to contest on the ticket of the United Party. So that this whole idea of competition, people paying money here and there, is eliminated from our body.
What should the parties do to make sure that this is outlawed in the first place?
No, they have to. I mean, NDC like that, I was very surprised. They lost election in 2000 and they shifted from it. It used to be selection in the NDC. That this person is good. Settle on him. That is the way to go. We are building a country. When last did any elections bring the best out of the country? Do you believe for a moment that if you went to parliament, that those representing the country now are the best of people we have in this country? No, it is because of some of these things. Those that have the ideas, the knowledge that could represent this world, they don't have the money. They are not corrupt by nature. So they will not even accept money from galamseyers, from drug laws here and there. So they will not be given the opportunity to go and represent us. And that we believe that is not the way to go. So they must settle on selection. But just let me deal with the issue of Alan Cash and how I am very happy he himself admitted to you that in 2007 he was not in this country. And that this
I didn't say that.
Were you in this country?
Yes.
You were in the fantastic day. It makes the matter even worse.
Yes.
And he told us that people are sending him messages. People are sending. That's why he's coming out. So
delegates.
They are telling you that.
Yes.
Delegates.
And even in the last delegates, he also gave them money. Yes.
That's what you get.
NPP delegates.
No,
yes, he gave money.
You get
Alan gave out
why
money
are you in a rush? You think I'm going to leave you? I'm going to.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, I'm not asking you questions. Let me. Why are you in the?
You ask me.
Why are you? Why are you feeling jittery?
You asked me a question, I answered you.
You are sweating in air conditioning. You see today.
Okay, thank you.
Alan Cash being named Alan Cash was from policy perspective. He said, jobs for the people, cash for the people.
Jobs for the people.
Cash for the people. Of course, when you get job, it's cash that you're going to get. And this has run through since 2007 that Alan Cash started his journey to becoming the president of the land. Everybody knows jobs for the people, cash for the people. Now we have Nana Akufo-Addo's faction thinking that when they turn the heat on Alan and made the Alan Cash popular, it will mean that he was dishing out monies to delegates. If Alan Cash was that Alan Cash, Nana Akufo-Addo couldn't have survived in 2007.
He would have given more money.
Absolutely. We believe in campaign. Look, in 2007, you know why he was able to challenge Nana Akufo-Addo and neutralize his effect. Whereas the Akufo-Addo was doing close campaign, Allah was the one that introduced broad-based campaign. You go to a constituency. Those days, the delegates were few, but he would not deal with the delegates. He would go and engage the entire constituency because he believes that that delegate goes to a church. And so the pastor has an influence on that delegate. That delegate has a kinsman, so he believes that that kinsman can have an influence. It was after that you people started learning this. It has nothing to do with whether or not Alan Gas was paying money. In any case, crime has no expiry date. Are you aware of that? If Dr. Zaato believes Alan Temati has been given money in the past, I challenge you today that you petition the office of the special prosecutor. If you are man enough, together with the entire MPP team, petition the Alan Temati was given money. If you are unable to do that, so that we move on. I have been able to petition that Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, by way of his rendition, saying that he donated more than 300 vehicles, is a potential corrupt person and must be investigated. And that petition is with the OSP.
The Navara,
unlike yours, that you just come and throw it into the air and there is no substance, and you keep thinking that the more you say, the more it sticks. It does not.
300 pickups?
More than that, brand new. What is the salary?
From Alan Cash.
And in fact, the vice president is even on tape to have said that when he fought for the party to come to power, they made a lot of money. Do we make money in government?
I don't understand.
You can only make money when you are corrupt. Say, oh, when I fought for them to come to power, a lot of people made money. If I had not fought, would you make money? So clearly, they know. And it's one of the sins. You remember the sins that they spoke of, that the e-gate at the airport was inflated by almost $240 million. You understand? As we speak, check the cases that the OSP is going through. There is one case that involves the stealing of rice, 10 containers of rice at the port. And that thing took place at the office of the vice president. They stole someone's rice and gave it to those people that were fasting. We have not come to all this. And you come and sit here and you want to pontificate. So when it comes to issues of corruption, bribery, and the MPP must not make a statement.
If you live in a glass house.
Me, I'm living in a glass house. I've thrown stone. I want you to throw back. That's the challenge I'm giving to him.
All right. Mr. Tanko, at the end of the day, while we transition and try to wrap up, our second subject is about how we've moved an inch up when it comes to the corruption perception index. And it's inverse, the way they do it. Once you inch closer to 1, it means that you're more corrupt. And if you inch closer, or if you get closer or down to 100, it means you're less corrupt. We've moved from 42 downwards to 43, so moved up by 1. Does it mean that you look at the actions of the government as well as the various quasi-judicial institutions we have in our country, and then the ability to be able to deal with the menace in itself? There's some level of commitment that has been reflected in this upward adjustment.
Very well. You see, I remember last year I was telling you, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, after staying in opposition for 8 years, he observed the way the country was being governed, and brought out this idea of reset agenda. That look, we need to reset a lot of our institutions, the way we do things in this country. We need to reset it. And as when he came in, he held the bull by the horn. One, look at the size of government he's running.
Okay.
The size of government, the leanest that you can think of, the leanest government that you can think of is what is happening. And it's permeating through his own lifestyle, it's permeating through all his appointees and other things. For 12 months in government, from January to December, there was no incidence of alleged corruption or corruption-related issues in any of the agencies across the country. Now, because of how...
You mean on a large scale or small scale? Because
just completely.
Really, there have been incidents of actions and inactions of some appointee MCs, DCs, etc.
Those ones
related to Galamsey and some
those ones. We are talking of the barefooted corrupt activities that would bedevil the country under the regime of Nana Akufo-Addo. It was glaring. You didn't even need to go to school to know that these are corrupt practices. An example is just go to this in Parliament. When you are getting to Parliament, on your left-hand side, you see a very big hole there. The amount sunk in there. That one there, you just go and bring primary school children and ask them, that this hole cost almost $90 million.
97
million dollars, this hole. The children will jump out from their car and say, what is this? Because they know money. But my last daughter, when she's going to school, if you give her 1 cedi, she knows the meaning of 1 cedi and 2 cedi. Now, if I go and tell her that this hole you are seeing that's cost $97 million in PPP, I don't know how to change it into a scan language or my own language. So it was barefooted, and everybody saw it. But under his watch, he gave out a code of conduct and announced that anybody who is found culpable on this, I'm going to deal with you.
You've signed the code of conduct?
We all signed. I have copy. Every day I go to office, I look at the copy, read.
You do?
Yes. Asa, who wants to be dealt with? And go and face the camera. So everybody, and interestingly enough, you will go and see what we call commitment authorization from Ministry of Finance. And you know what it meant? Before you go and procure or give out contract, you must make sure that you get authorization from Ministry of Finance.
Otherwise you can't.
You can't. And PPA will not even give you authorization to go ahead with a procurement when they don't see commitment authorization from Finance Ministry. You must show evidence that there's money in your agencies to pay what you are going to do. That is why we have ended the year without any incident of scandals. And so, look, this year, government is even going to go higher.
What if one comes up?
Oh,
you think the president would deal with it?
The president just saw something at Owusu East. He was sitting there. And this incident came publicly. People were showing on TVs and other things. Didn't you see what the action he took on that? When and said, look, this one he has just taken, he's waiting for the report. The party can also deal with that matter. Are you getting it? And the party came out and also said, look, this is what we are seeing. This thing happened and all this happened. The other two to also be dealt with. Are you getting it? The president is watching it. When this issue, have you heard the issue of the Amancia, the DC, who is alleged to be taxing fines and all these things? There's a report on that matter.
Yes.
And the report has been presented to the...
It's a joint news document.
Good. The president ordered the local government minister to quickly investigate the matter.
Already?
Already, fast. Yesterday, Felix Kwachi, the government spokesperson, on his timeline, wrote on that matter. And the minister received the report from Joy. We are not going to look, because whatever we are doing in this country is for the good of these people. We are going to make sure that we reset the country and reset it well. So anybody who is going to go outside what the president has done, this one we have to congratulate the president. Just 1 year, he's managed to overturn that their 8-year corrupt activities, and Ghana became a laughing stock outside. Now Ghana is now a baby to the Committee of Nations. Everybody is inviting us everywhere. The president is being invited, darling. They are sending aircraft to come and pick him, to come and attend functions. But unlike their people, they were renting and renting bathroom on top of on air. That is not what we are seeing now. So I know what my brother is going to say. You have to congratulate the NDC government, his government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for making sure that we have inched up in the corruption index. You have seen that. Unprecedented. This year, it will.
Your 3 minutes
increase.
is up. You have 3 minutes as well.
Thank you very much. Unprecedented. I just want to start from there. 2024, it was 42%. 2025, unprecedented is 43%. That's unprecedented is 43%. In the University of Ghana, if I graded you and I gave you 43%, it's an F. So what the transparency is saying that the NDC government has an F in corruption fight. MPP had F's too. Agree. But here's the point. You use the whole of 2024 to talk about looting in NPP. You launch a fictitious Ajapa book of it in looting. You put looting in your manifesto to say MP was looting. You came, one of the first committees you said was oral, which we now know is all full of garbage. Everything was looting. You ranted on all these things we're talking about. Despite all that, Transparency International still gave you a failure, F, in your corruption fight. So everything you have said, we should clap for President, clap for him for getting an F in corruption. Clap for the president for failing massively. That's F is God. Good. I want to read something here from the report, it says that dismissal of the former Chief Justice and the various petitions for the removal of heads of various independent institutions smacks of politicization of the judiciary and law enforcement and undue influences by the executive. These acts are more than some of the biggest casualties you can do on fighting corruption. To fight corruption, you need an independent judicial system. This is Transparency International talking. They are saying that these actions and inactions, what you did, because you took a bulldozer to the judiciary in Ghana, you dismantled it. You say you took a judiciary and you dismantled the independent judiciary.
So this is from Transparency International. This is how they interpret the CPI. If you get between 0 to 49, it indicates high levels of corruption. If you get 50 to 100, so if you are, let's say, 100 out of 182 countries, so you are, let's say, the 100th country out of 182, it suggests a cleaner public sector, though no country could be immune to corruption. So you are less corrupt.
Yes.
So they say the more you inch downwards to 100 or the 182 countries in the assessment, then less corrupt you are. So if you're 42 and you get to be measured 43, 42 is more corrupt than 43. That's the interpretation.
I'm saying, the point I'm also making is that, you see, I don't want to do comparison about what happens. Yes, it's true. You've aged once. But still, I'm saying that in any grading system, the grading system that I work with, that's an F. The grading system I know is an F. It's an F. You is an F. You must is an F. You got an F in this one. But the point I'm making is that, and they are telling you why. Because you see, what you did was, what the government did was strategic. Go to the foundations that have to fight corruption. Put fear and panic in the men and women who are supposed to fight corruption, so that if they are afraid of their jobs, they will leave you free. That's why the report is saying that by taking a bulldozer to the judiciary, by removing a co-equal arm of government, and by going to this issue, you were institutionalizing corruption. I would have thought that after all this noise about looting, about oral, about this, I would have thought that the government would have done at least pass by about 50 on my scale. But after all this is said, and just 1 year, listen, I then also expected that this is the honeymoon of the government. After you've launched code of conduct, after you've launched all this, I thought it was a honeymoon. So again, I was very optimistic that the government would have done significantly better. But I'm woefully and pathetically disappointed in how they perform. Because you see, if in your first year you cannot fight corruption, and we can all agree, what happens when you start your primaries? We've just seen Smolo. This was not captured in the report, so this will be captured in the next one. What happened? Because we all know, and we cannot pretend that when the primary starts, it's going to get worse. If in your first year, with all the honeymoon, with everybody basically giving you a pass, with Solo sitting here basically giving you a pass, because you are very young, you get F, fail.
If you flip it,
what happens when this the Baba Jamals and the OYIWAs multiply and quadruple? Thank you.
What you flip
so
is
our situation will be rather worse next year if because of the NPP's internal primaries. Remember, people were paying 700, 500, and that was just by the bar. They went around campaigning. Some were being sent to the Abetifi Hotel there. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was paying. Everyone was paying. So clearly, if this is what is going to be used to measure the levels of corruption, then you would have exacerbated the situation. But let me tell you, when I read the report and the Transparency International made reference to the removal of the CJ as a basis for where we are, I just stopped reading. I realized it was total rubbish.
You shouldn't have cited that.
Total garbage. You see, I keep telling people that all the international organizations, if you are in sub-Saharan Africa, you must open your minds. First of all, who sponsors these Transparency International people? What is their motive? That when a government uses the constitution to legitimately remove a chief justice, you are saying by following due process that amounts to corruption, then you are not a serious institution. I keep saying that no amount of machination whatsoever to arms twisting here and there would make the removal of the chief justice Tokonu something that was not needed. A private citizen of this country, Daniel Ofori petitions The petition is sent to the presidency. The president, together in consultation with the Council of State, establishes the prima facie case. A committee is established. The Chief Justice gets the opportunity of meeting with 4 lawyers, submits close to 10,000 evidences. The case is adjudicated. They go through it. A recommendation is made that, look, you have exhibited misconduct. Based on that, the Chief Justice is removed, and you have a faceless body sitting somewhere saying that by following the Ghanaian constitution, it means you are corrupt, and we want to entertain it. What are they talking about? We cannot be allowing international bodies to take us hostage in our own country. The last time we came here what's the name? Was Zaato not pressing the current Chief Justice and their rulings concerning Pandai?
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
He was praising the Supreme Court that first of all injuncted the rerun of the Pandai elections. Again, when the Sheshurara was upheld, he was again here praising the judges. But for the removal of Chief Justice Tokoro, would you have experienced this for you to praise?
So you're saying Fiegum Potogum?
Fiegum Potogum don't mind some of these institutions.
I don't understand the language.
If he favors him,
if he favors him, look. You remember early part of last year.
We don't understand the tree. So
early part of last year.
You understand?
2025. When we came here, the first he started telling me was that, look, you people, you had 31,000. You had 31,000. Is that not the case?
Who had 31,000?
He said Mr. Alan Chemante had 31,000.
He was signed the movement for
yes, he was teasing me. Today.
No, I don't tease you. I just
yeah, you stated a fact. Fantastic. Today, what is his argument? He's saying that 42 and 43 are all F.
That's what he said.
Is that not what he said?
Yes.
Even though it's an improvement by 1.
No, but he said F by his grading system.
Yes.
Now,
no, it's not my grade. The University of Ghana's grading system.
So by University of Ghana's grading system,
Okay.
41 and 0 point. Is it not the same F?
It is.
So then why did you make that? Why then were you making the point that you had 31,000? The truth of the matter is that 41 is higher than the vote you had is higher than mine. But in spite of the fact that, or the mere fact that we all failed, does not mean yours was not the quality failure. You understand? But today, conveniently, you want to say that we all failed. It doesn't work like that. Everybody, a child born today, knows that your administration was that corrupt. Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you are only having mouth because people here are pampering them. This administration, they are pampering them. From the Attorney General to the OSP to Yoko, they are pampering them. That is how come even an issue of cocoa board. See, an issue. That by now the SWAL administration must be dealing with. Look, you go to an institution like the Fertilizer Council. The former board chair, you have completed your tenure. She is in the home and then holding on to government vehicles. She doesn't want to bring it. And she speaks roughly to them.
Currently,
the Fertilizer Council. The woman. She has statuses with her. And I don't know, people are so weak. They are weak. You are pampering them because you are afraid. Look, if the United Party gets to power 2029, Ghana will be sweet.
Going by this latest report,
yes,
the CPI, do you think that what has been shown by way of the aesthetics,
yes,
or the optics, so to speak, and then the actions in themselves, the president as well as his government have shown that they are more prone to dealing with corruption or not, and so that's a reflection of what we're seeing.
The president must up the game. You see, there are certain things that are happening in his administration. Maybe some of it he doesn't know. For instance, you look at NIMOS, what the young man job that gentleman Kendeboa is doing. Do you believe for a moment that they are investigating him? That he is rather corrupt? Because he's stepping on toes? You see, when you don't crack the whip, I've seen the Amansia Central issue. You understand? Amansia Central, that's where I come from. I know the situation very well. I kept telling you last year that if they don't deal with it decisively, the entire area will be gone. We will lose it. By now, that person must be behind bars. The investigation is ongoing. At least he must step aside.
Be interdicted.
Absolutely. You see, there has to be precision. What of the guy, the MP that Stephen Dove or whatever, the one that led the attack on the... Yes, what has happened to that matter? The president must begin to be decisive with some of these things. It is only this. He is not serving the interest of NDC people. He said the interest of this country and the legacy he leaves. You see, we are at a crossroad. Whether or not our democracy will survive depends on how decisive the president is with this last opportunity. The NPP has destroyed this country. He is the only last hope to save this democracy.
Who?
John Mahama. He is the last. That's why they say he is the hope. He must represent that hope, that song that they sang for this country. That anything short of that, this country will never know democracy.
Okay, gentlemen, I have some comments here. Let me just quickly go through. Let me say good morning to James Kofi Pinkra. Mr. James Kofi Pinkra. I said, Pinkus, wishing you all the best of the day. But importantly, I have this one from Roland Jan Kwafo. Good morning. He says, please ask Solo to address this. Wasn't his boss Alan Chamantin among the first to introduce monetization of internal?
I have done so.
2000.
I've done so.
MPP flag bearer.
I've done so here. Oh, you didn't
remember what happened? What is the response to that? Of Akko Hills. That's
what is that? Of Akko Hills.
Instead of when he was even flying, he was the only candidate who started flying with helicopter during the primaries.
No, but what is a big deal about helicopter?
Canary.
Yes.
Oh, Canary.
That's why they sent you.
Moses says that when Mr. Penyo Makin forced the judiciary or the Supreme Court to sit on a case on Friday and in due time, that one wasn't a problem for Mr. Zaato. When the CJ doesn't want, he won't even see the okay. So I've seen that as well. Prince Daniel York says, I'm disappointed with the NDC's decision to clear Baba Jamal. I understand the political consideration, but for the sake of the reset agenda, they should have made a sacrifice by appointing someone else to represent them at the EC office today. This could have been a powerful starting point to signal to Ghanaians that all political parties will now be held to higher standards of accountability. And so he says that the people are watching closely. And the OSP is doing cherry picking. Why are they still not giving feedback on the Navarra donations and the investigations?
They won't.
The petition by Solomon and two of his friends. And I have this one from Elliot Ogbe, who says that I want to use this platform to invite all Ghanaians who are witnessing and benefiting from the good works of the NDC to join the NDC as they undertake a membership drive. To Dr. Zaato, I urge you to focus on facts and substance. Public debate should be truthful with constructive criticism. Solomon always comes prepared, credibility intact. Good morning to Dr. Tanko, you say. Money, please tell Dr. Tanko they should jail the corrupt MPP officials before we believe them. Dr. Tanko, say do jail. Guy G, Cantonment Accra, has this one, quite long, but I'll read it. Very instructive. These contests in our political space have always been characterized with one form of expenditure or the other. However, the various processes, including filing of nominations and canvassing for votes through the various forms of campaigns, all do come at a cost. Democracy is said to be expensive, and those who seek to participate in this process must show a high level of resourcefulness. In the advanced democracies, one's level of resourcefulness is highly regulated, and rightly so, because tendency to abuse such abilities to one's own advantage is higher. While the use of money in politics remain an important feature that cannot be done away with, the abuse of it eminent has very often generated controversies across the globe. Regards to my good brother Solomon Owusu, Gaiji Cantonment Accra.
Gaiji, good morning.
Oh, you know him, eh?
Yeah, Gaiji is a correct guy.
Tell your friends to come and say good things about you.
He's actually a strong MPP.
Yes.
Man, Gaiji.
He's a level-headed person.
I don't know him.
He's level-headed, eh?
Someone is telling me that you paid 1,500 doing the Sister Lies. They sent it from Sister Lies. You are here saying otherwise.
I like your research to finish. That's very good.
All right, so that is it. Enti enkomo no ehonum ena akwa akosi. Na many NDC for enka this issue on vote buying allegation. Enka I was almost setting the record straight. Because you krumha and a lot of enkrofo a omo ato votes. Omo eto vote. Even recent MPP for time krano. Omo koye omo kan say MPP for koto aba. Ekoye omo flag bearer. Hwesika na omo eche. In fact, hwesika na omo eche. Hwesika a omo eche. Hwesika na omo eche. And I wonder why. So when no na I was say NDC aban no look into it. If you want to set an example, I am more buying a momote so you can probe into it and check. Say abaye koto eye sika na yeche ana say eye vote na ye koto. You see, a honum na was NDC for enkomo yeden omo estati na omo den start conversation no from there. Nanka enu achi no my den mo nso mo de course no matimi aka ho asem. But on countless occasions any yahu say vote buying akoso okuruma even MPP for mo anka so mo time kra no MPP for mo anka so mo time kra no it happen here. What I say it is sad and I was saying comedy Baba Jamal a set example. Now truly NDC for say truly NDC for truly almost say almost person almost build Ghana. I was saying comedy Baba Jamal, and I don't know the kind of evidence or and answer the kind of how they did. In fact, said the isi call ya umubi chomo kere Baba Jamal. But ni na munu John Mahama and in this branch is because as it stands now, he has been withdrawn from the position. The High Commissioner Ghana to Nigeria. No. What I say? Inti no in say no so honum and it is okay for that. It is okay for that. No problem. Inti udi abusia. Mami fa unsi manya some emergency binti was send me den me attend to. Manya emergency bi was send me attend to. What I say? Was send me attend to. Inti mami fa unsi. Let's also do comment betum na wa like this conversation na wa share na foforo enye bia hwe. Inti we komodidi atimi akoso honum na abusia for mesraw mon subscribe because on I am not all that active. I am planning on something inti mesraw mon subscribe for my na the platform yintimi nkoye ni mon subscribe why mon subscribe mesraw mon subscribe na bibia intimi enkoso bidian mega makraw. Bye bye.